Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Bayverse Batch. We have made our return after a brief hiatus. I don't think we reviewed anything since OG, but yeah, we're back with another review, in-depth spoiler discussion of Kantara Chapter 1. So we did see it, I think like a week or two ago at this point, but we wanted to give it some time for you guys to also check it out. And we couldn't, get together until now either, but we're gonna do it today. We're gonna talk about it in depth. Yeah, I mean, let's start with like what we liked. I think like from a baseline perspective, we all enjoyed it to an extent. Not as much as like one another, but I think we all would say that we liked it overall, right? Like that's what we thought when we came out of theater. But yeah, like I'll start. I think like overall, like I really enjoyed it. I'm like I'm not. I remember when I came out of theater, I wasn't close to saying I loved it, but I was very close. Like I was like right there. There were just a few things that turned me off a little bit that made me not say I loved it, but I enjoyed it a lot and I liked it a lot, especially over the first one. But yeah, that's my brief little intro. You guys can take it away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while. I think none of us had the guts to watch any of the three Sankranti releases, or not Sankranti, Diwali
Diwali.
releases. Yeah. So,
Yeah,
maybe
that was the worst
yeah,
Diwali season I think that we've
that's
had.
an awful lineup, dude. When K-Ramp is like the best reviewed one of the four, you're
Yeah,
cooked.
that's crazy. Yeah, at least last year we had Lucky Bhaskar, I think, right? Lucky Bhaskar was last year,
Yeah,
last
maybe.
season. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, maybe if they come on OTT, we'll review it, but I don't think any of us had the time or care enough to watch these movies on the big screen. So, anyways, back to the actual movie. Kantara Chapter 1, I thought was an improvement in every single way from first Kantara. I thought first Kantara was average for 90%, and then Rishabh's performance in the last 10% brought it up to the next level. This one I did have my issues with, but overall I'd say I liked it. It was good. There's a lot of effort went into it, but I'll talk about issues later. But I would say I think I think you liked it more than I did, but I can
Yeah.
still acknowledge I can see why you liked it as much as you did. But I thought it was good. It felt short of being great, but definitely miles better than the first one, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I'd say I'm more on Akil's side, because I thought the movie was good, but I didn't love it as much as Sai did. But as far as the first one, I thought the first one was very average, and so the second one actually like did miles better than that one. I felt like this one actually has a lot more to say, a lot more cool things to show than the first one did. And I thought the acting, obviously, like Rishabh in the first one already showed, but then this one, he, went another step, especially in that like climax and all that thing. So, I mean, I can't really say anything else after that.
Yeah, no, I think like since we're touching on performances, I think all around every single character killed it in this performance wise. Obviously Rishabh with like the action scenes when like he gets possessed, that stuff was crazy. I actually like I that action scene in the middle part, I think, when he kills the king's son. That I thought was like his best possession scene. Like that scene I thought was crazy more than the climax. I mean, the climax is also good when he gets possessed again, but I thought that first initial possession was like insane. So I really enjoyed his performance a lot throughout the whole film. And then everyone else too, the heroine, I thought had a really, really great role, and she killed it. The king's son, his role was like whatever, but he still did fine for what he was given. The king himself, like he's a famous actor. I forgot his name, but he
Jerome.
he did really good too. Yeah, he was good. So everyone, all the main characters that we see did a crazy job. So performances wise, I think that's like one of the biggest positives of the film. They all bought into it and they all like they pull you into the world because their characters are so well written and they perform so well too.
For me, for me, yeah. I liked Rishabh a lot. I thought he did well. Uh, I mean, I guess I'll just put spoiler in the title. Just jump straight in. But yeah, I
Oh, I
mean,
mean, this is I
it's been
said in
a
the beginning, spoiler
yeah,
discussion.
yeah. Oh, you said it. Oh, okay, okay. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
even hear.
yeah.
But what's it called? Rishabh, I thought did really well. There was so I actually flip-flopped with how you feel about Rukmini versus Gulshan. Like Gulshan played King's son. I forget the name too. But I thought Gulshan was really good and he played like a Seish like character in Punjab where he's so fucking annoying.
Hmm.
And it's pretty clear like at first I was like, yeah, right, like it's like a fucking comedy villain, but it makes sense because they're setting up for the larger villains in the second half, which is like Rukmini and Jairam. So, but he played his part with what he was given really well. I thought like the comedy bits he nailed, even like hunting scenes in the beginning. Like he had good camaraderie, and then you saw him like start to take charge and slowly become more and more insane, and then just like a fucking insufferable going on a rampage. I thought he was really really good. I thought Rukmini had a and did that twist I think we all saw coming, especially during that scene where her and Rishabh is like bathing her or some shit. Yeah, like she says the phrase, which is signs that you know what's going on. Take me to the garden, unquenta, like that version. So at that point, I think all of us knew. Anyone who was paying attention knew that okay, she's evil, right? But I thought she was fine. But I thought Gulshan Devaya was a show stealer. I thought Jairam and Rukmini, their arcs were kind of rushed. But I'll talk about that in the negatives. But Rishabh, his whole clan, like the person who plays his mom, the person who plays the village Sarpanch, all did really well. Even the comedy actors, I found their presence to be a little irritating, but they acted well too. And then, like I forget his name, Arun Tardu, like the father and son duo, you know who I'm talking about. So those guys did
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
and then
Like
Gulshan killed
the
it.
little dude, right?
Yeah, yeah. His name is yeah. It's like should have written down their names, but they did
Yeah,
well.
yeah. The one thing about the comedy, like I mean, this is in my negatives. We'll talk about it, but I thought it was a little not funny, like in a lot of parts. But
Yeah,
anyways, we'll talk about it later. But yeah, the main thing I think for me, like why I enjoyed it so much, was it felt like a proper story. Like it felt like a very very well written like book almost. How like the movie flows from
yeah,
beginning to end, right? There's a beginning, middle, and end. Like it's a proper film, and that's what you expect from any movie, right? That's how movies are, but you don't always get that in Indian cinema, which sucks. But this felt like a proper film. It had all the action that you would want also. It wasn't just a snore fest, like oh, just like a character-driven drama or whatever. Like they had action. It was very, very well layered within all the drama that was happening. All the character motivations made sense, except one character, which I'll also talk about in negatives. But all the characters, their all motives made sense. The reasonings to why things happened, they all made sense. So it's just a very, very well written story. So that's like one of my biggest positives, I think. The writing is just done so well. And I think Rishabh, he wrote it also, right? So he killed it with like the story writing. And then him shooting it in real locations just takes it up to another level and not using green screen for like every other scene. Because this is a movie that you could have done that with. Like he probably could have saved a lot of money and just done a green screen, whatever shot for every single scene. Every time they're in the forest could have easily been a green screen. But you can tell that majority of the time they're in real forests, they're in real like grounds, and really does add to it. So I appreciate them for actually doing it in real locations. I think those two things really helped me like go into the world of this like Kantara. Otherwise, it would have been cap. Like if the story wasn't good and if they didn't use real locations, there's no way you're entering into a different world that they set up. So I think like those two are my biggest positives that I can think of.
Yeah, for sure. Like they got the whole like port. They got the whole like everybody like what the
Yeah.
way they dress, like the villages, even the forests themselves, like all the locations, like they all like I think the set design was like really good because they really hammered it down, especially because Kantara like the first one was set in like what in the 80s or something. So that's like our time, like or at least modern time, and this one like going back completely like really shows the difference. So I think that's definitely one thing, especially with the cinematography too, which was like really beautiful. So that complemented each other.
yeah, yeah. I like what you said, World of Kantara, because the first one was still shot well, but second one actually felt like so much more beautiful. Like their budget probably quadrupled, obviously with Hambale, how much they put in into efforts too. But yeah, it looked beautiful. it takes you into the world. Like even the scene, or Casino in the first half when they're on that tower, that wood fixture, and all of Burma and his friends, they're all like going throughout the city. Like I thought that scene went on for a little bit long, but it showcases the entire port. It showcases like the entire city, all the merchants, the huts, the watch signals, all the way up until the docks. So I thought that was shown really well. And then the way it builds what was done well too. Yeah. World building like is very good in this movie. Cinematography is awesome. Each character gets kind of like their loop, their arc, and like you said, there's depth to it. It's not just a bullshit movie. So I
Yeah.
like those parts a lot. And I think second half I like a lot more than first half. I'll talk about first half's more negatives, but second half there's more of a momentum and pace. And that things
Yeah.
happen in the second half. First half is fully set up for the interval bang, and then second half onwards. But Konisalu in the first half, I was like, all right, what is going on, man? Like let's fucking
Yeah.
hurry it up. But second
Yeah.
half had really good pace. So those are mainly my positives. And then music, I don't think I really paid attention to music. But it was fine. I think music was good too.
No, yeah, I think in the first half there's a lot of comedy scenes and like obviously setup scenes of the world and like the port and all that. I can see how and a lot of people have also said the same of how it was dragged on and so on, and I completely agree with it. But the whole time that I was watching it, I was still enjoying what I was watching. Like I never felt a drag in those scenes. I can tell in the back of my mind, okay, this is going a little too long, but I was still having a good time watching it. So for me, like personally, like in my opinion, like I liked all that stuff. But I definitely see how it's like some people could find it boring and dragged on and so on.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any I mean I don't know if Ankit has more positives to discuss, but what else?
Yeah.
Do you have anything? Action was good. I don't know if we mentioned that. I think you did.
Yeah.
Fight
That's
scenes were good.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then negatives.
Let's do it. Yeah. We can go
This
negatives.
is where we shine, right?
Yeah.
That's
This is where a majority of our time goes anyway. Yeah.
okay. I guess I can start. So my biggest thing was like a Rukmini and Jairam twist was like I don't know. I mean I knew it was coming because Jairam was kind of like not doing shit the whole movie, and I was like, there's no way he just takes all of this, you know? It's like Kodokuni Chan pissed out. Like obviously this dude's pissed. So I thought like the ending was the climax I didn't like compared to the interval. Like it felt like the interval was the peak. And then climax fight I didn't like at all. Obviously Rishabh is possessed by like the acting was insane. But the way like Rukmini just gets, tossed out instantly and Jairam just gets cooked felt very, very fast. Even with like Gulshan's death, there was a lot going on, and it took time for Rishabh to like kill him. But here, like he kind of just like showed up out of the sun, out of nowhere, and just killed them. And I was like, okay, that was very, very quick for a movie that put so much time into bullshit comedy scenes, etc. So I didn't like the climax personally. I thought it could have been handled a lot better. And with him going to the cave and the CGI creature, I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Personally, that was my biggest flaw in the movie.
Yeah, no, I agree. Climax is my flaw also. I was gonna bring up the whole like storyline with him and going to the cave because that makes no sense because he was already in the battlefield fighting all
Yeah,
these guys, and then some the imaginary old man that he like whatever imagines tells him like go and find that monster or whatever in the cave. He leaves the battlefield, goes back to his village, which is also far. It's not close. They always reference it as like, oh, it's like farther away. You have to travel through the forest to get to the city and like all that shit. So he goes
24
back to his
hours.
village. Yeah. And then he fights that monster thing and then he like somehow magically returns like yeah, out of like a fireball or something. So there was like no logic there for a film that was going very logically in throughout the first half and even through the second half. At the end, it just kind of loses all logic and just becomes like a fantasy or like a superhero kind of film. And that's the part I didn't like the most because I think like at the end they tried really hard for this to become just like a superhero film of oh yeah, Rukmini and her dad are the villains, like the super villains that have evil powers, and then Rishabh Shetty and gang are the ones with the godly powers, and it's like a fight. And the fight itself was like 2 seconds. Like he killed Rukmini in like a second, and then he killed Jairam the next second, and it was done. So it was like, okay, you tried to make it a superhero movie, but you didn't even have a good fight. So the whole concept that they thought of there, I didn't like. I think they should have kept it grounded, similar to the interval, like kept it grounded, um, and worked within that scope rather than making it all like powers versus powers at the end. That was also like one of my biggest negatives. The whole thought was a negative for me of like, oh, I'm gonna try to make it like a Marvel like climax or something.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I fully agree, dude. The like, first part worked, interval and the climax of part one worked because it's embedded in folklore, and there's like that mythical element to it, right? Like he's getting possessed. Here, he's just flat out not even possessed. Like I mean, he is, but he's just he's bending the rules of like time, space, everything. And I'm like, okay, is this a folklore mythical movie or like you said, is this a fucking DC Marvel movie on crack? Like, what is happening? So
Yeah.
it just felt like the soul of Kantara by the time we reached the climax was lost. And I know a lot of people online, like the discourse online, especially from Kannada communities that I've seen at least, was like, this shit has nothing to do with like our actual folklore. And it's like the way they showed it was like more of a cash grab than it is showing respect to traditions and history, scriptures. So I didn't like that, but I mean, yeah, I think we both agree. I think Ankit also has similar thoughts on the climax, right? You said you didn't
Yeah, I
like it either.
mean, that plays into like my biggest drawback of the whole movie is the draw like how dragged it is. Like you guys mentioned the first half, and then in the second half climax, like I just thought there was a lot of stuff that just kind of dragged throughout the whole movie. Like there was a lot of stuff that they could have just taken out. And as you know, like Indian movies are already usually like 3 hours long. And if you take out so much like stuff is some stuff is important, but other stuff I feel like, okay, was this added for? So if you took all of that, I would be much faster and like much more like kind of condensed. And like I just feel like it was meandering for a long time. And that really, because those parts really made me feel like the rest of the movie, I was like, okay, this is going really good. But then the drag parts made me really like think, man, like this is really boring. So like that's what really put my enjoyment down.
Yeah, no, I agree with that too. Like what I was saying before of how, especially in the first half, the comedy scenes and stuff like that were being dragged on too long. Like the whole stuff of them in the jail.
Oh my
They had like a
God.
whole comedy scene with the little dude in the jail. I thought that was, yeah, I was watching it and I was like, okay, it's kind of cool because they're still building the world around it. They show you like snippets of the world and stuff, which is kind of cool. But the scenes themselves went on too long. It was like when you're trying to tell a joke and then you explain it and it's not funny. Like it was like kind of that vibe. So yeah, that kind of stuff, I think they could have definitely chopped off for every single scene in the first half, to be honest. Like every single scene, you could have cut the last 30 seconds to a minute off and saved like, who knows, maybe 10 to 15 minutes or more in the first half, and that would have kept the pace a little bit longer, or a little bit shorter. But personally, I didn't mind it. But if I was an editor, I would have done that though. But yeah,
Yeah.
I do agree with that.
I think, dude, there was also just a lot of scenes where I got the point. So deviating from the climax, because I feel like we touched on it, and also filmmakers need to stop like throwing CGI. I know, like obviously CGI is like you can nitpick whatever, but that looked bad, dude. For how good the rest of the movie looked, like Mirai, like say what you will about it, like I thought it was okay. But like there's like a whole, I mean, it's not a spoiler to you, but if you've seen the trailer,
I
I don't
haven't
know if you
seen
saw the
it.
trailer. There's an eagle, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. I saw that in the trailer, yeah.
yeah. So that was like it was still CG in the movie, but it looked fine. Here, like with the budget they had, like they generated looked like a fucking like I don't even know. It looked awful. It looked really, really bad. So I
Yeah.
was like, what are we doing here?
I think they spent their whole budget on the animals throughout the movie. Because like those
Yeah,
animals look pretty sick, I would say. Like they had a tiger, they had like monkeys and like a bunch of random animals. I think for the most part, all the animals looked sick. Except, yeah, I do agree, like I think they probably ran out of budget by the climax and then the entire climax fight looked kind of fake.
yeah. No, the whole climax fight looked fake, and yeah, I mean there were so many cool set pieces, like the whole Kalkia 2.0, whatever the fuck they were called, like
Yeah,
that, like
like the
when they first,
dark forest
yeah,
or
yeah, when they first meet them in the forest and like it was just such cool setups, and then the tiger comes and saves their ass. So scenes like that were cool. I forgot to even mention that as a strength, but
Yeah.
uh basic guy, like in the first half, we keep seeing that they sneak in and out of the kingdom as they fucking please. They ruffle feathers. Like the whole point is to show Idima, this is our port, this is our people, we want to sell our shit, and then establish that father and son duo. I feel they could have done that in half the time that we saw, which would have really kept a crisp first half along with a banger interval and then a fast-paced second half. So that was my biggest thing is I thought there was like at least 30 minutes of footage that could have been wiped. And I genuinely found it irritating or repetitive. I don't need to see him sneak in and out of the kingdom that many times. Or like full Gulshan or, show off like Mahdi Peddadi like that many times because that was the whole point of the first half. That's the one
Yeah.
sentence
To
summary of the first
establish
half.
the characters and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
And even when he gets into the kingdom and he gets caught, like they get they throw him in the jail, but they literally like break out. They tell him, "Oh yeah, like we can break out whenever we want to." Like it doesn't
Yeah.
affect the characters at all. Like so, it's
They
like
like they didn't they rip the actual jail
yeah,
cell apart? Like the
no,
gate?
they were like hung or whatever,
Yeah.
and then like they did this, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're just like dealing with your torture. Like if we wanted to, we could fight you." So it's like there's no real sense of danger these guys even have in the first half. So why even show that?
Yeah. I think the only time where they actually got in somewhat trouble was when they were messing around in the port and that they had that whole scene of them riding that thing all the way through the port and then they finally got caught and like got sent to the kingdom and all that stuff. That was the only time where like they had some sense of danger, but other than that, yeah, they kind of did whatever the fuck they wanted.
yeah, the a lot of the first half is same thing as Kantara one that I had an issue. It's him dicking around with his friends.
Yeah.
Here at least they're doing some business. But I was like, dude, like honestly, like Burme, like those guys were pretty fucking annoying. Like I also wasn't exactly like, oh, these guys are like sick or whatever. Like, but it's good. I mean, we're supposed to see that like they're also immature, and that's what led to like Gulshan's immaturity, and then Burme's immaturity led to like Kantara clan being fucking wiped in the interval. So, you know, that was good. But yeah, I mean, those are my biggest complaints is there's just a lot of nonsense scenes, like comedy or the same essence repeated over and over that I thought if cut could have been a way tighter narration. Because
Yeah.
apparently the movie did underperform, like less than what they thought it would do. It made a lot of
Oh,
money,
I
but I
thought it
think they're
was.
expecting
Oh yeah, I
more.
thought. I mean, maybe in Telugu, maybe it made a lot of money because I thought I saw like that in Telugu it made a lot comparatively. Maybe it didn't make as
Yeah.
much in Kannada and stuff, but
Yeah, like it didn't make as much in Hindi. Like the first one had a lot of Hindi going
oh
into it, and
yeah.
that's what like got it to such a I think. But yeah, I mean that's what disappointed me is there was just too much shit going on, and then at points of the movie it lost the soul of Kantara one. It just turned into a Marvel on steroids film. So those were my biggest complaints.
Well, this I think like goes into the climax also, but what I alluded to earlier, like with one of the characters having making no sense, we talked about it too, but the Jairam character, the King's character, all of a
Yeah.
sudden becoming bad and tying hands with the dark side, basically. I thought that made no sense because the whole movie you set him up as a guy that wanted to avoid issues with the Kantara clan, like he didn't want to create any trouble at all or lead to war. You set that up the whole time. And you also set up the fact that he hates his son. Like he doesn't like him. And like he warned him many times not to fuck with the Kantar people, but he did and got killed. So his reaction also was like, oh, I knew this would happen. Like my son's an idiot. Like I knew this would happen. Like it wasn't like they didn't really show him like I guess grieving as much. Like it was more of like, yeah, he deserved what he got what he deserved. So I don't know where the whole angle of him like, oh, now I gotta take revenge. That just doesn't make sense. Like they didn't write that properly, I think. Like his motivations didn't make sense. And that was like basically the whole crux of the ending. Like him making the decision to take revenge was the ending. Because then Rukmini was able to bring in the dark side, and then that's how they started the process of trying to trick the Kantara people to come into the kingdom and then kill them. So yeah, that one motivation, which leads to a lot of things, I think could have been better written. But that was also a negative for me because it didn't make sense.
Dude, yeah. Even the dark side, like it was cool for a few scenes. And
Yeah.
obviously like they needed to set up the climax, but even I just thought that whole character was like kind of bullshit. Like
Yeah, it was just there as a we need an evil side, so here we go. Like
yeah.
and and they're all yeah, literally Kalakias. Like why can't they just be normal people? Like why do you have to like cover them in like black soot?
Yeah, I don't know if that's written anywhere, if that's like an actual thing, but I was just like,
Yeah.
this seems like literally just a gimmick to divert us from Rukmini and Jairam, who are the real villains. Like a
Yeah.
gimmick with that and Gulshan making up half the movie, and then those other two making up the second half. So yeah, that was my main thing. Ankit, did you have anything else? I think I already voiced what I had to say, to be honest.
Yeah, I had the same things, honestly. I mean, other than the logical inconsistencies, like for me the biggest like issue was the pace and all the unnecessary scenes. I felt like that just made a good movie into like something that I thought was good still, but not as great as it could have been.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, and my complaints aren't like inherently like things that are awful, right? Like those scenes are it's still world building, so fine, keep them in the movie, whatever. I think our main complaints were just like they didn't need to go a certain route, but it's not like the same way we do cons for most movies where it's just like flat out just bad or
Yeah, yeah,
flat
yeah.
out just like terrible writing. It's just
These are good
over.
cons to have, I think,
Yeah.
compared to other Indian movies that we've reviewed. Like these are
Yeah.
definitely like the cons that you want to have, not the ones that the other ones
Yeah.
have.
All right. Yeah. So should we give our number ratings or do you guys have anything else to say?
No, I think I've said everything. I'm down.
Yeah.
We can start.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I'd give this like a 7.5 out of 10. Um, Definitely more like visually in the theater. I think I'd probably enjoy it the most. OTT Lo Chuse, like I don't think I'll ever watch again on OTT. Nothing against the movie, but it's just more of an experience than like a overall movie. And then really carried by like the world building, and then Rishabh like was amazing. I think we touched on it, but he carried a lot of it, and the creativity and soul that went into this is awesome. And I think we'll see a third one. So hopefully they improve on the flaws on this one and that too.
Yeah, because I think I did like it like more than you guys, but I think I would definitely give it like an 8 or an 8.5. Um, Short of me loving it, like a 9 or over would be like I absolutely loved it. But I really, really liked it and enjoyed it a lot. And I would recommend it to anyone, especially if someone's on the fence, like, oh, should I watch it tonight or should I not watch it? I would definitely tell them like watch it. Like you probably will like it to an extent. Like you won't be turned off by it. You won't be like, oh, what is this bullshit? Like you will like it to an extent, in my opinion. So I think I'll give it like an 8 or 8.5.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I'd give it like a six, 6.5. I mean, like obviously the cons that you guys had like affected me more, but I'd still agree with that in the sense that I don't think the majority of people, if they watched it, like I don't really see where you could see this as a bad movie. Like I understand if you like it less than, us or more than us, but I think overall it's still a good movie, so that's what I'd give that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's definitely better than the first one. I think first one I literally was like, what? Why did this get so much hype?
Yeah, I think the climax is what hyped everyone up, but I
Yeah.
mean, that's like 10 minutes.
Yeah. But yeah, I think then that's pretty much it for our ratings then. And so it's probably the only movie this year that all three of us like reviewed and liked.
I
And
think
like
so, yeah.
yeah, because
Because
there's
yeah, we
some
didn't
movies.
review like Court or any of those earlier ones. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's crazy. One like big blockbuster film in a year that we actually enjoyed, like everyone together. That's crazy.
don't worry. Rapo's coming with Andhra King Talaka, and then Mas Chatra is on the way.
Oh God, dude, Mashiatra is gonna be. Oh my God. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else coming out. There's the rest of the year because Decoy got pushed, right? And that's about it. There's really no other big film.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I get some time to watch Loka, I'm down to do a review on it.
Oh
Like
yeah.
with
Okay,
us,
was
I know
very good. I enjoyed it.
yeah, you saw it. I'm
Yeah.
also down to like Telsukada got like a lot of talk around the subject matter, so OTT will
Yeah.
sit up with like that and Dude once they come on streaming. I think
Yeah.
would make for pretty good discussions.
Yeah.
But I think in theaters, Andhar King Talika will probably review. I don't know if Akanda 2 and Maz Jatra or we can tolerate
Uh,
in theaters. So
I don't think
yeah,
so. Yeah.
even we have to draw a line. Charming Star, you saw his new photo shoot. That
What was that?
Oh, God. That's
I don't
you
know.
showing on
Wow.
He took like Ozempic or some shit. He looks so different
Yeah.
now. But
Yeah.
yeah, so stay tuned for those reviews, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll catch you on the next one.
See you guys.